Good morning, grade 4s. Today we are going to be talking about metric units of weight. Now, we've done imperial units of weight before. We've talked about pounds and tons and ounces, but the metric unit is a little bit different, and I think you are going to like it. The reason why is because it's very similar to the metric standard of length. So if you remember, anything that ends in meter is an example of a metric length. So for example, centimeter or kilometer or millimeter or even just the meter by itself, those are all units of length. They measure how long something is. Now, for units of weight, we use things that end with grams. But guess what? We use the exact same short forms. So we have a milligram. We have a regular gram. We have a kilogram. And we have all of the ones in between. So take a look at this step ladder. It should look familiar because we've used it for the meter lengths before, but we can change each of these into grams and they mean the exact same thing. So we have a milligram, a centigram, a decigram, a gram, a decagram, we have a hectogram, and we have a kilogram. Now there's one extra unit of measurement we use when we talk about this, and that is the metric ton, which is about 2,200 pounds. So it's a very, very large unit of measurement. We would probably use this measurement for measuring buildings and ships and like ginormous things because it is super, super heavy. Otherwise, we only use about 3 of these other ones on a daily basis. We will use kilograms, we will use grams, and we will use milligrams. Now, a kilogram is about 2.5 pounds, which is about, the heaviness of a good solid textbook, maybe 2 textbooks if you want to be a little bit generous. A gram, on the other hand, is about the weight of a paper clip like this. It is super, super light. A milligram, that is even tinier. We use milligrams to measure the tiniest, tiniest things. That's like taking a single piece of hair, a single piece of hair, and taking just about a centimeter and weighing that. It is super, super light. So we will not be using that one too much. But these two, the gram, the kilogram, and maybe the metric ton, we will be using those a little bit. So then in your math book, you have some work to do with grams, kilograms, and metric tons, so on and so forth. So I just want to go through what you have to do for the first 3 questions that involve this. For number 1, you are basically writing true or false. So for example, you'll have a question like this. 1C says a meter is a little longer than a yard. And if you remember, this would be the length of a meter stick. This is about the length of a yard. So yes, it's a little bit longer than a yard. So we can put true on the blank. If it's false, you just have to write false. You don't have to correct it. The second question asks you to choose the bigger measurement, or my apologies, to circle the lighter unit of weight. So we're actually looking for the smaller measurement. So between grams and kilograms, if we look on our step ladder, we see that grams are much farther down than kilograms. That means they are much lighter as well. So we circle the one that is lighter. Finally, in this last one, we have to decide if we want to weigh this thing in grams, in kilograms, or in a metric ton. So for example, if we have a bottle of medicine, what would we want to weigh that in? That probably wouldn't be as heavy as a kilogram. So we'd probably want to go smaller than kilograms and use grams to measure it. A house trailer, that's sort of like a portable, ginormous, huge. That one we definitely want to use metric tons for. And then a cow. Now a cow is pretty big, but I don't think it's quite big enough to use metric tons. So instead, we might use kilograms, so I put that on the blank. There's a few more for you to do for each of those questions, so give them a try. And I wish you the best today, grade 4s.